The laughter stopped the moment the restaurant doors opened. Everyone had expected the shy deaf girl to walk into a humiliating blind date, realize she had been tricked, and quietly leave while the people who arranged it laughed behind their phones. But nobody expected the man waiting at the table to stand up, push back his chair, and do something that would make the entire room fall silent. Her name was Hannah Whitaker, a 27-year-old woman from Columbus, Ohio, and she had spent most of her life learning how to survive people's assumptions. Hannah was profoundly deaf. She communicated through American Sign Language and written notes, and although she could read lips in quiet places, crowded rooms often became a blur of moving mouths and expressions she could not understand. She was intelligent, independent, and warm-hearted, but years of being treated as different had made her painfully shy. She rarely complained. She simply learned to disappear whenever people made her feel unwanted. That Friday evening, Hannah believed she was going on a genuine blind date. Her co-workers, Rachel Collins and Megan Foster, had convinced her that a kind single father named Nathan Caldwell wanted to meet her. They promised he was respectful, successful, and serious about finding someone who understood family and compassion. What Hannah did not know was that Rachel and Megan had secretly planned the evening as a cruel joke. They had told their friends that Hannah would never realize she had been set up, and several people were waiting nearby with phones ready to record her embarrassment. Before we continue, if you believe everyone deserves kindness, dignity, and a second chance, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that remind us that kindness can change a life. Hannah arrived at an elegant restaurant in downtown Columbus wearing a simple navy blue dress, a cream cardigan, and small silver earrings. Her dark brown hair was neatly tied behind her shoulders. She checked the reservation twice before walking inside. Her hands trembled slightly because this was the first blind date she had agreed to in years. She had spent nearly 20 minutes practicing what she would write on her phone if communication became difficult. Then she saw the man at the table. Nathan Caldwell was 38, a respected technology CEO, a widowed single father, and the owner of a rapidly growing software company headquartered in Ohio. He wore a dark charcoal suit without a tie and had tired brown eyes that carried the quiet sadness of someone who had experienced loss. Beside his chair sat a small backpack belonging to his 8-year-old son, Caleb, because Nathan had planned to pick him up from his grandmother after dinner. Nathan stood immediately when he saw Hannah. Hannah smiled nervously and signed that she was Hannah. Nathan froze for half a second, not because she was deaf, but because he realized something was wrong with the situation. The reservation had been made under his name, but he had never arranged a blind date with Hannah. His assistant had told him earlier that evening that someone had made a reservation for him, claiming it was a networking dinner. He had come because he was already in the area. Hannah noticed his confusion. She pulled out her phone and typed that she had been told he wanted to meet her. Nathan read the message, then looked across the restaurant. Near the bar, Rachel and Megan were struggling not to laugh. One of them lifted her phone. Nathan understood everything. He could have simply told Hannah the truth and walked away. Instead, he pulled out the chair across from him and gently motioned for her to sit. Then he took out his own phone and typed a message. He told her that he had not arranged the date, but he was sorry someone had made her believe this was real. He also told her that if she wanted to leave, he would personally make sure she got home safely. Hannah stared at the screen. Then she typed that she was embarrassed. Nathan's expression changed. He wrote that she had nothing to be embarrassed about. At that moment, Rachel and Megan approached the table, expecting the perfect reaction for their cameras. Rachel laughed and admitted that it had all been a joke. She said they only wanted to see Hannah's reaction when she discovered the successful man she had been promised was not actually there for her. But Nathan slowly stood. He did not shout. He did not insult them. He simply looked at the phones recording Hannah and asked them to stop. The room became strangely quiet. Nathan explained that recording someone's humiliation without permission was not a joke. It was cruelty disguised as entertainment. He told Rachel and Megan that Hannah had walked into the restaurant believing she had been invited because someone genuinely wanted to know her. Instead, they had deliberately turned her trust into a spectacle. Hannah's eyes filled with tears. She began signing rapidly, but Nathan couldn't understand every sign. He opened his phone and typed that she could tell him everything later if she wanted. Then something unexpected happened. A small boy ran through the restaurant entrance. It was Caleb. He spotted his father, then noticed Hannah. Caleb approached and asked why she wasn't speaking. Nathan explained gently that Hannah communicated differently because she was deaf. Caleb looked at Hannah with innocent curiosity and asked if she could teach him how to sign his name. For the first time that evening, Hannah laughed. She showed him the signs. Caleb copied them badly, making Hannah laugh even harder. Nathan watched them with a softness that had been missing from his face for years. He realized that his son was not seeing Hannah as broken or unusual. He was simply seeing another person. Nathan then did something nobody expected. He asked Hannah if she would stay for dinner. Not because he felt sorry for her. Not because he wanted to prove a point. He simply wanted to talk. Hannah hesitated, then nodded. They spent the next hour communicating through phones, gestures, and handwritten notes. Nathan told her about Caleb, his late wife, and how becoming a father had changed his understanding of what truly mattered. Hannah shared stories about growing up deaf, struggling to find work, and constantly feeling that people saw her disability before they saw her personality. Nathan listened, really listened. When the evening ended, he asked if he could see her again. Hannah looked surprised. She typed that she thought the entire evening had been a joke. Nathan smiled and wrote that the joke was theirs, but the dinner had become real. Weeks passed. Nathan began learning basic American Sign Language. Caleb learned even faster. Hannah slowly became part of their lives, first as a friend, then as someone they could not imagine being without. She helped Nathan's company develop more accessible communication tools for deaf and hard-of-hearing customers. Her ideas were brilliant, and Nathan eventually offered her a leadership position in the company's accessibility department. But the greatest change was inside Hannah. She no longer walked into rooms expecting people to laugh. She no longer apologized for needing communication to happen differently. And she no longer believed being quiet meant being invisible. Months later, Hannah returned to the same restaurant where the cruel joke had happened. This time she walked in holding Caleb's hand. Nathan followed behind them. There were no hidden cameras, no laughter, no humiliation, only a family sitting together. Hannah looked around the room and remembered the frightened woman who had entered that place months earlier. She barely recognized herself. Nathan took her hand. Caleb signed something to her. It was a simple message, "You belong with us." Hannah's eyes filled with tears. She hugged him tightly. Sometimes the person who enters your life through an unexpected door becomes the person who helps you discover your worth. Sometimes a cruel moment does not become the end of your story. Sometimes, when someone tries to make you feel small, another person chooses to stand beside you and remind you that you were never small at all. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who believes kindness matters, and subscribe for more stories about compassion, courage, and second chances. And before the story ends, I have one special request. Comment, "Everyone deserves kindness," if you believe people should be judged by their hearts, not by the differences others notice first. Hannah never forgot that night. Neither did Nathan. Because what began as a cruel joke became the beginning of something beautiful. Not because a wealthy CEO rescued a shy deaf woman, but because for the first time, someone simply looked at Hannah and saw what she had always been. A valuable, intelligent, loving human being who deserved to be heard, even in a world that had spent years refusing to listen.